It's more of the lived-in look at the moment, but I am back to transporting. Not so much RVs as box trucks for the moment, because that's the contract that they have. But I am back on the quality. Drive away. Like and subscribe. Leave some comments. Welcome to my YouTube channel. YouTube subscribers, friends, and alike. Grant coming at you from Walmart in La Grande, Oregon. I got to get across Oregon to deliver this in Portland. It was 2,218 miles, the contract says, and 2,150 that it pays to deliver it. So looking at 96 cents a mile, which is kind of a lower rate because right now, unfortunately, they've gone down in rate. And well, the RVs pay a little better, but right now, Quality's got mainly this contract with a bunch of 309 more of these Hertz trucks, small little box trucks. I like it, this little box truck that's made on a Ford Transit. I like everything about it except for it doesn't have cruise. It has basically manual cruise. It governs out at 75 mile an hour, and then you press your foot down on it and hold it. And I've had to do both my feet, and then I bought a walking cane basically to use as the hand pedal for the brake. And after both my feet get tired, each foot gets tired after about an hour of being pinched down, and so I use the cane for about an hour, and then I switch back and forth, and I've been going about 450 miles a day, give or take, which is more than usual, but I'm trying to get it there by the end of this week so I can get paid. It took me 13 days, almost 14 days to get on with Quality again, because I had to wait for the drug test, and then I had to wait for the background check and all that, because they do the drug test first, and they sit around and make you wait for the rest of it. After they do the drug test, make sure that you piss clean, essentially, before they go waste money, because it costs money to run your background check and so on with DOT, because of the 10 years prior that the need for DOT. Then when I got there, I found out that you can go up to 2 months, 60 days off without working for them and calling them. Basically, you're supposed to go the month, but then if you call them, you can go about 2 months. But by month 3, I have to pay $55 a month worth of their insurance in order to take that month off again and not drive for them. But that would be cheaper and easier on both our parts if I wanted to take 3 months off in a row somewhere, like I ended up doing this last summer, because I didn't know if I was going to come back or not. And at the time, at the beginning of it, when friends talked me into working for PTI, it all sounded good for PTI because you can get paid $150 a night whether you took a trip or not. But then the overnights started to get to me and everything, like I made in that last video. And then I realized this is where I actually belong. Out here on the open road, I missed going to different states like Idaho and stuff like that. I'm in Oregon now, but I just went through Idaho this morning. I missed all of that. I missed life on the road. And so, anyway, Quality told me that basically every month after the 60 days worth, the 2 months, first 2 months worth, I'd have to pay the $55 worth of their insurance that they pay on me per month that I want to take off. But then that would allow me to take off the 6 months if I wanted to, or whatever. That's what the other people do, apparently. And I failed to ask when I left if there's a way to get around having to, if I come back, what would be all the steps to come back. And that would be the easier thing to do it, because then they still count you as current driver even though you haven't drove. But you do have to come back within 6 months, either which way, or they drop you. 6 months is the total cutoff for insurance. They quit letting you pay it and everything else. So you can go up to 2 months with them paying it. It's supposed to be only a month, but you can call them and you can extend it to 2 months if something come up, like you needed the time off with their family or whatever. And then if you go past that point, you pay $55 a month worth of their insurance for the next 4 months max, and then either way they have to terminate you at the end of 6 months with no activity. But it does give you about 6 months worth of time frame that you could take off and then come back, which is good to know in the future in case I get burnt out, because you get tired of the same thing over and over, or the rates aren't the greatest. I want to go do something else for a couple months. I can just keep that in mind, that on that third month I need to pay them the $55 in order to keep me current. A lot cheaper, a lot easier than going through everything that I had to go through for the last 2 weeks, basically living on the street waiting for them to get me on with the drug test and all that other stuff. Instead of doing that, I can just stay current, and I'd only push it to about 3 months out. I don't think I'd make them wait for me longer than 3 months, but I kind of wish I had known that. I would have gladly paid the $55 to not have to go through everything that I went through waiting on them. because I spent way more than that week, that 2 weeks just on food and hotels and whatnot. But I just wanted to show you that I am back to not expediting, but it feels like expediting. I'm back to RV transport. Yes, this is not an RV. I'm back to basically box truck transport for a while, because they have 309 of these trucks on the contract, and then they have a bunch of shuttle buses to take next, and then they have Class C's, like over there. And then they basically said right now, because of the slow time, and it's going into the slow time of the year with Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up, I have to take one of these every other time that I take something like a Class B or Class C or whatever and rotate. I have to take one of these, and I think it's because it doesn't have the regular cruise. It has the manual cruise where you just pinch your foot down, and then it governs out at 75. And I think that's why people don't like taking them, and I think that's why they basically made that a rule. Instead of taking short for long runs, now it goes by vehicle type at the moment, and you have to take one of these every other time that you go. I took this one this time starting off the gate because it was the longest run that they had for the load board, 2,218 miles. Everything else was like 600 miles at a shot. So right now it's not the greatest time to come back to RV and box truck transporting, but for me, I don't have very much bills anyway, so I'll make it work. But anyway, most of the load board miles was like 600 miles, most of the trips. So I'm gonna end up having to do 1 or 2 day trips and then take the 1 day worth of back on the bus, usually, because if you only do 600 miles, that's about the only thing you can afford to do, is to take the bus back for a day, back and get another one. And I might just do that a lot for a while. I'm still trying to save for brakes on my Ford Expedition that I showed you. That I've just decided to bring it to my mom's house and let her use it, so it can be made use of instead of just sitting there waiting on me week after week and not being used. But I need to get brakes bought on it all for it, new brakes and then tires. And between all that, it's been the labor for all that. It's going to be like $1,200 that I got put into it. This trip will be $500 that I hopefully save after I deliver this to send to her to get that fixed, and then another 2 more trips I'll have that paid off. But it might have to come. I have to wait for 3 or 4 little trips because of the short amount of miles, 600 miles at a shot. But this video is getting pretty long. Like and subscribe, leave comments, and I'll catch you on the flip. Peace.